Welcome back to Winners and Losers, your post-race edition for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Last time, we introduced the concept of winners and losers, and if you didn't catch it in Melbourne, then I'll give you a quick rundown of what to expect in this video. First of all, we picked 3 winners, with one of them being our race biggest winner. We also picked 3 losers and our race biggest loser. And then at the end of the video, we do a bit of analysis, a little bit of a deep dive into my fantasy league over on the official Formula 1 Fantasy League site. We see how terrible I have done each week, what teams are working, which ones are not, and the transfer I have made going into China. So then, if you love Formula 1, if you enjoy Formula 1 content, then feel free to subscribe. I also do Formula 2. A report for the Formula 2 weekend should be coming out tomorrow, hopefully. But as some of you know, I am away this week, so this was pre-recorded on Sunday. Let's start off then with our winners. Quite a few people to choose this week. Obviously, there's some pretty obvious candidates, and I think losers are probably the more likely, but honourable mentions, I would like to throw out Lando Norris. He didn't quite make the cut this week. I would have loved to have put one of the Renault boys on here, but we know the outcome which eventually happened for those guys. Max Verstappen, maybe Pierre Gasly finally getting his first points of the season. Sergio Perez also had quite a good fight through the field, but my first winner of the week goes to Valtteri Bottas, and I'm guessing some of you are a little bit surprised at that, because overall Valtteri struggled this weekend, I would say. Qualified in 4th, and for the majority of the race ran in 4th place and got very lucky due to others, and that's why I've put him in the winners section this week. He's not our biggest winner, but he's currently the only driver that's been in the winner section for both weeks. And again, this is not last week. This is almost the complete opposite to last week, because last time in Melbourne, he was here because he was the best. He was comfortably the best in Melbourne, deserved it. This time round, got very lucky, and so is a winner generally through pure luck. Our second winner, before we get onto our big winner for the week, is Alex Albon. Again, I think people would have preferred I went for Lando Norris, preferred maybe I went for Gasly or Verstappen, but I've gone with Albon. And looking at his stats there, finishing 9th, his first points for the season, brilliant. I think for me, why he's a winner is that he came into this season with everyone saying that Kvyat was going to wipe the floor with him, he didn't deserve to be in F1. He's out-qualified Kvyat twice now. Winners and losers, we like to look at the whole weekend. Did a brilliant job in qualifying, really racy in the race, and picking up points for Toro Rosso. Brilliant job from Albon. But as you can see on screen, our biggest winner, I don't think there was any doubt. Did he deserve to win the race? I mean, there's one thing saying luck, but you've got to be in the right place at the right time. I don't think he did deserve to win this one. It reminded me so much of Baku last year, where he didn't have the best car, he didn't have the best weekend. I mean, Hamilton qualified 3rd, should have finished 3rd, but got lucky with Vettel's mistake, and then obviously the huge chunk of luck with Charles Leclerc. So Hamilton is our biggest winner. Again, he was a lucky boy this weekend, and that's what you need in championships. Moving on to losers. I made sure we did losers second this week because, well, there's a lot more to talk about for sure. So many losers up and down the grid. My boy Grosjean, he retired early doors. He's got no points once again. Carlos Sainz running so high up. He's another honourable mention. Maybe I should have thrown him in there. Both of those 2 drivers DNF'd twice. Ricciardo, he's another one who's DNF'd in both races so far this season. Those 3, well, especially Sainz and Ricciardo, were ones that I really thought about putting in this week's losers section. But instead, I've gone with Ricciardo's teammate, Nico Hülkenberg. And I spoke about him earlier. Maybe he should have gone in the winners. And in my driver of the day section yesterday, my race review, I spoke that maybe he should be the driver of the day. However, starting 17th, that's awful qualifying. That puts you in the losers section already. Last time out, we put Gasly in the losers section because of his awful qualifying. We think about putting Hülkenberg there. Yeah, bad qualifying. In the race, got up to 7th, doing brilliantly. Then he got a big smack around the face. No Hulkenberg. He retired with a couple of laps to go. An absolute criminal behaviour from the F1 gods. He is in our losers section. So is Sebastian Vettel. I should have put him as the biggest winner. Maybe not. We'll talk about that in a minute. But out-qualified by his teammate Charles Leclerc. Took the lead in the first couple of corners, but then was outclassed again by his teammate Charles Leclerc throughout the race. He got mugged off by strategy, did Sebastian Vettel by Lewis Hamilton, made that mistake, cost him a podium, and also cost him a place to Max Verstappen. Ended up finishing 5th. His best result of the season is 4th, so he's not even stepped on the podium this season in a race which should have been his first win since Spa. Ends up 5th. Our biggest loser. I don't think there's any surprise about this, and this, I think what I'd want to try and get across is the biggest loser doesn't mean they've had a bad weekend. Charles Leclerc, it just comes away from this race having lost the most. Should have won the race, controlled the race, a brilliant performance. He was my driver of the day, but the racing gods, similarly to Hulkenberg, they just did not want to favour him today. They really didn't, and yes, he comes away with his first ever podium, his first ever pole position. Something Max Verstappen hasn't done yet is get a pole position. So, look, positive signs from Leclerc, but unfortunately, and it pains me to say, I'm still a little bit emotionally moved by that. He is our biggest loser. But moving over to the fantasy side then, something a little bit more light-hearted. As always, you can join the league. The links are in the description, and so is the code. So you don't have to pause the video. It is down in the description. The code is. There's over 300 of you. Since the last episode, more than 100 of you guys have joined the league, and it's not too late to join. And in the summer, I'm going to be starting up a second league, so for people who are a little bit late, hopefully they're not too far behind. But you're only a couple of races in, and the guy actually who got the top of the standings this week is on more points than I've completed in the 2 races combined. So it's not too late to join, and this is how I sit after this weekend. So this is how my team looks, and it was looking so rosy. Ricciardo had made so many positions up, ended up getting minus points. Leclerc winning from pole, loads of points in the bag, ended up dropping down to 3rd. Grosjean, I mean, he's got to be in the team. The Grosjean army, we've got to have Grosjean, but more minus points from him. And Ferrari, when it should have been a 1-2. It's a curse being in my fantasy team. George Russell, though, an inspired choice putting him into the team. He's been one of our best people in the squad. So we're going to see in a minute who I've taken out this week and who I'm putting in. But George Russell doing very well on his debut. And this is how the league looks. You can see there your top 7, a complete change around at the top. We'll dive into Fry the Bacon's team in a moment. But 371 entrants. I'd love to see it if we can get to 400 by the time we hit to the Chinese Grand Prix, the 1000th race in Formula 1. Like I mentioned a second ago, I'm nowhere in this league, 195th out of the 371 of you guys. So I'm almost in the top half, almost. Yeah, but Fry the Bacon, that is his team right here. 204 points in this race alone. I got 112, 70 last time out in Australia. Yeah, Mercedes duo in the team, also the Mercedes car. Robert Kubica are picking up plenty of points. Those Williams guys are actually quite good at getting points, because if someone DNFs, those guys automatically, in quotation marks, gain a position. So that's why I put Russell in the team. But Albon, a really good shout there for this team, and also putting him as the turbo driver, another really good shout. So Fry the Bacon leads the way at the moment. What is going on with my team then this week? As always, if you're not aware, at the end of each weekend, you get 1 free substitution in your team, and I thought I'd make it a little bit fun, rather than this being a bit dull and boring every week, is to use my substitution no matter what. So, at the end of each race, I've got to make 1 change. Last time, Giovinazzi went out of the team, in came Russell. This time, Ricciardo goes out of the team. That is going to haunt me, but I'm hoping for Daniel that, because he's not in my team anymore, he'll actually have a good result now. But Ricciardo is out and in comes Lando Norris, someone who's been doing quite well at the moment. 6th place last time, that was a brilliant result. I think he'll get some good points for me, but what also it does is frees up my budget for next time, where I think I'm going to trade out Gasly and maybe bring in Max Verstappen. So that's to look forward to next time in China, and there, once again, is the league code, and hopefully we can get to 400 of you guys, but I really do enjoy the fantasy F1. So if you do fancy joining, those links will be down in the description. But I'd love to know, who are your winners and losers for the season? Who are the winners and losers for this race? It's been a crazy race, a crazy season so far. Melbourne was a good Melbourne Grand Prix, but Bahrain was next level, wasn't it? Stunned. I still am stunned, and I've watched the race twice. I could easily watch it 3, 4 or 5 times. It's really setting up the season nicely. So if you want to see more Formula 1 content, Formula 2, and we also do a bit of Formula E content here as well across the season, feel free to subscribe. I hope you have enjoyed, and also I hope to see you in the next one.